Welcome to my channel, The Binge Eating Therapist. I'm Sarah, a former binge eater turned psychotherapist, and my mission is to use this space to bring content to you to help you understand your struggle with food and break free from binge eating. And today I want to talk to you if you're someone who hates your body. And this video was surprisingly difficult to make. I tried to record it earlier and I found myself getting quite emotional because I think it's a really difficult subject for a lot of people, and I was certainly stirred by some of the content, so hopefully you'll find it useful. If you live in a body that you actively dislike, it's a really isolating place to be. If you're someone who lives in a smaller body, chances are if you try to talk to anybody about how you're feeling about your own body, people are going to reassure you, they're going to tell you you look fine. And if you live in a larger body, what often happens is people start giving you advice on how to change your body. And either way, I think that this position of living in this body that you feel really uncomfortable in, it doesn't get validated by anyone, because unless you've been there yourself, I think it's really hard to understand. There's so much stuff on social media now about body positivity and body acceptance, and this idea that no matter how your body looks, that you need to find a way to love your body. And I think that can add a lot of pressure as well, and people can feel bad about the fact that they just can't, or they just don't know how to. And so when we think of something like body acceptance, I do think body acceptance is the way to freedom. But this is not a video of me telling you you have to accept your body. No one has the right to tell you what to do with your body or how to think or feel about your body. But there are a couple of things in this video that I wanted to talk about to just get you reflecting a little bit on it. I suppose the first thing is I'd ask you to think about like the 3 people in your life that you care about the most. 3 people that are really important and you really value them. And are those 3 people the most attractive people, physically attractive people in your life? And if they look different, how much do you think the way you feel about them is going to change? Now, I know this is quite a rational argument, and I think that's the difficulty with talking about body hatred or really not liking your body, is that it's not a rational process. It's a feeling, it's a sense of discomfort. And I think for me, one of the major turning points when it came to recovering from binge eating was when I finally got to a place where for me, how I felt in my body was the most important thing. And that's what most people want. They want to feel better in their body. The problem is that we think we need to change our bodies in order to do that. We're living in a body that might be binge eating a lot, and it might feel like it's doing it for you. You're not connected to your body's signals. We have this relationship with our bodies as well. We live in a world where we have a relationship with almost everything. We have a relationship with people, we have a relationship with food, and we have a relationship with our bodies. And so when we're in conflict, when that relationship is a tempestuous one, it's difficult because there's no escape. If you have a fallout with someone in your life, you can remove yourself from that person to kind of gather yourself together and have a bit of perspective. You can even do that with food a little bit. You can kind of step back from food, even for an hour or 2, to try and find your mind and to try and tap into where you are physically and what it is that you want from food. But when it comes to your body, it's there 24/7, attached to you. Some people describe like just feeling so uncomfortable in their own skin, that desire to just like shed this meat suit that we have to lug around with us. And so how do we think about this, and how do we think about feeling a bit better in our bodies, a bit more comfortable? I think it's helpful to notice that how you feel about your body does fluctuate. Even if you have really poor or negative body image, there are going to be days where it's worse than others. So there are days when how you feel in your body changes, and which suggests that your body is not the thing that's changing that much, for most people anyway. That idea that you can look in the mirror one day and feel 20 pounds heavier than you did a couple of days ago, and you know it's not physically possible, but it's how you feel and it's what you're seeing and experiencing. You know, the mind tends to show us what we expect, or tends to be a reflection of what's going on in us. So if we're in a bad mood and someone says something that is a little bit annoying, we might feel really irritable because we were already in a bad mood. And it can be the same about our bodies as well. So sometimes when you're feeling really negative about your body, especially when it's at its worst, chances are there's other things going on that are kind of being channeled through how you're feeling about your body, and it's not just about your body. And then when we think of body acceptance, one of the reasons why people really struggle with the idea is that they think that if they accept their body, that nothing's going to change. They think that if they accept their body, they're accepting this imagined future where their body always looks and feels how it does today. They just got to put up with it. A lot of people feel like acceptance is giving up. But acceptance doesn't mean that nothing changes. If you've been in conflict and you find a place of acceptance, you change. It's not the situation that has to change first. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to change your body, but I think we really need to look at the motivations for it. And what is it we think that changing our body is going to give us? Because it can be very easy to go down that slope where we imagine that if we just change our bodies, this is the feeling that's going to be given to us. And I wonder sometimes whether it's the other way around, whether we can create this feeling of being a bit more comfortable in our bodies, being a bit more connected, and then maybe our bodies start to shift and change if they need to. But at least our experience of our bodies change. And in our eyes, they will look different anyway, even if you're someone whose weight stays the same, for example, because weight always comes up with binge eating again and again. There's also a danger when it comes to thinking about body acceptance of thinking that it's somewhere that you get to this place of body acceptance. But as I mentioned earlier, the way we feel about our body fluctuates. So there are going to be days when you feel more accepting and less accepting. And I think of acceptance as really being about a choice in the moment. You're just accepting the now. You're not accepting some perceived future. If I accept that I'm struggling with binge eating, if I accept that my body looks like this today, that this is what I'm going to get. You think that you're accepting now, but you're also accepting an imagined future. But it's not that, it's just that you're accepting now because now is already happening. I think body acceptance is often misunderstood as this destination that you get to. And once you're there, then you accept your body. You get there and you stay there. But as I mentioned earlier, the way that we feel about our body tends to shift and change. So there'll be days when you might be feeling more accepting and days when you're not feeling quite as accepting. I often think of acceptance as just being a choice in the moment. You're just choosing to accept how things are right now. Like while you're watching this video, if you were to look down at your body, how do you feel about that? And can you accept that just now, not a projected future? And the only reason why it's even worth accepting it now is because it already is. So if you're already feeling uncomfortable in your body, if your body looks however it looks today, that can't be changed in this moment right now. So it's deciding not to get into a conflict with something that right now is beyond your control. When we accept the moment, we're able to take a certain level of personal responsibility in the moment. and responsibility in the lighter sense of the ability to respond in the moment. You don't know what you're going to do in 2 hours, 3 hours, tomorrow's time. Yet people try and take responsibility now for future decisions, especially when it comes to food. People will tell themselves, right, this is what I'm going to eat, this is what I'm going to decide to do day after day. And then it doesn't happen. The binge response is being triggered over and over again. Whereas when we accept the moment, when we accept how things are right now, we take some control just for the moment. And it kind of, it's veering into the realms of the philosophical here, the idea that life is only happening now. Life is a series of now moments. If you are really struggling with your body image, I'm urging you to just sit with the idea that it's the image that you hold of your body that's the problem, not your body itself. We blame our bodies for a lot of things. This person spoke to us this way because of how we look. That person broke up with me because of my weight. Whatever it might be, all these things. Oh, another one is like, if my body looked a certain way, I would do X, Y, Z and my life would be amazing. We put so much pressure on these bodies and how they look to create our lives for us. And then we give away any sense of self-agency. But I don't want to undermine or belittle how painful this can be and how uncomfortable it can be to be in a body, to feel trapped in your own body. It's worth spending a little bit of time just in self-reflection, asking the question, how do I want to feel in my body? Am I willing to feel that way now, even if I don't know how to? I think it starts just with willingness. When we say we're willing to do something and we want to do it, sometimes things start to look a little bit clearer. But on that note, I'm going to sign off. So go well, and I'll see you in the next video.